Listen. Okay.
5, 6.
You can dance, you can shout. Got some things you really wanna talk about. Represent.
Die bundesweite Artist Labs sind eine Maßnahme des Fonds Darstellende Künste, finanziert aus den Mitteln der Beauftragten der Bundesregierung für Kultur und Medien im Rahmen der Neustadtkultur. Moin moin, I'm Pascal Schmidt.
I'm Winnie Diaz.
And I'm Anna Schneider.
Welcome to
Represent
Dance. That wasn't
We
bad, actually.
tried.
Yeah, we did our best.
We were not Tash, but we tried it.
The first question, who are we?
Who are you?
Who am I? My background is from... Where am I going to start? I'm going to go back to when I was just a little girl. I asked my mother, can I dance? And so I did. So I started dance coming from Martha Graham, Horton Technique. My teacher came from Alvin Ailey. When I decided to professionalize, I did my first ballet class with 18, then got accepted into the Mannheim University of Music and Performing Arts, where I finished my bachelor in 2014. Then I went to Hamburg to the Bundesjugendballett, where I had the chance to choreograph and do workshops. 2016, I joined the Hamburg Ballet for 3 years. After my contract was terminated and I could not find further employment within the dance scene, I studied culture and media management at the Leuphana. After Corona, my freelance career kind of started kicking off. And since then, I've been doing projects surrounding dance in photography, performance itself, choreographing, curating. And that's a little bit to who I am. Rock, paper, scissors. Who's next?
Who are you, Winnie?
So hi, I'm Winnie Diaz again. So I am from Brazil, from Belo Horizonte. Started dancing when I was really young in my ballet school. Near to my normal school. Did my whole school in Brazil until I was 17. I got a scholarship to come to Germany to study at the Academy des Dances in Mannheim. Did my bachelor's degree there. And then after I got my master's degree as well, that's how I met those wonderful, lovely people. 15 years later, we kind of reconnected. And after that, I did an apprenticeship with the Staatstheater Karlsruhe. Went on to work with Ballet d'Oran in Mulhouse, France, and then I joined the Bundesjugendballet in 2011. Spent 2 years with the Bundesjugendballet and then got a contract to the Hamburg Ballet Company in 2013. I'm learning from the best. In 2013, joined the Hamburg Ballet. I was in the company for 4 years, and in 2017, I went on to be a freelancer. Honestly, I wanted to go back home, but then life decided that I was going to stay a bit more in Europe, in Germany, because I got really interesting projects. And decided that I did not want to be in a ballet company, in an institution anymore full time, and got to work with wonderful people, wonderful artists and different perspectives. And Corona was also obviously a hard time like everybody, but it expanded my professional pursuits. I started doing film, like directing, editing, music videos, dance films. I started choreographing much more. And we're here now. Oh, I did do a yoga teacher's training during the pandemic. That was lovely.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Cute. That just leaves me. I'm Anna Schneider, and I started ballet, so also come from a classical background at first. I went to the Mannheim Free Academy in 2008, changed a school there also, like normal school. And after my mittlere Reife, I applied for the full studies in Mannheim. I got in, I stayed there for a couple more years, met these lovely people, as Winnie already said. And but right after I was about to graduate, I decided I don't want to be here anymore. Changed university to the Hochschule für Musik und Darstellende Kunst Frankfurt am Main.
Changed to the Hochschule für Musik und Darstellende Kunst. Sorry, I did like that.
Had to start all over there, which was absolutely worth it. And graduated with my bachelor degree in 2016. Did an internship with IT Danza in Barcelona, got a guest contract in the Theater Münster. In 2017, I did a workshop in Montreal, Spring Dance Montreal. Everyone should check that out. It's really nice. And decided to go into freelancing because I didn't want to move to a city I don't want to live in just because I get a contract there, but actually want to live somewhere I feel comfortable and have a good life and have a social surrounding with me that I enjoy. Which was getting more important to me than being somewhere I don't want to be. And since then, my freelancing got on, and I did really nice projects with really different artists. And right before Corona started, I just came back from Chile from a project going into lockdown. And for me, like, it was like a really hard cut. A lot of things were just like canceled. Which was really hard, but then I found out a different side I was scared of before and got myself into producing, actually. I produced my own short films. I produced a documentary. I developed like own ideas, and that's what I've been doing since then. I got into managing, which I've been doing here also. Did a Pilates instructor license myself. Yes, and now I've been moved to Hamburg, which I enjoy a lot, and have been working much closer with Pascal since then, and reconnecting with a lot of people back in Mannheim, and doing this now.
Yeah. And we are the team of
Representants.
You're gonna throw that in after every question.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a lovely row of podcasts which are going to be aired on a regular basis. I think the question that everyone is going to have is not why, but where did this idea come from?
Since I just said, like, Pascal and I have been like working a lot together, like supporting each other a lot. I have actually not been in contact with Winnie before the project now like started again. And we saw this application for funding where they gave space, they wanted to give money out for people to find out about the audience in Germany. And Pascal took the initiative and was like, how about we talk about the audience and look at the audience and why the audience is not very diverse. And I was like, of course, like totally on board. And our theory then also like, then that was the step when Winnie also came in. Our theory was kind of that we feel like the audience is not diverse because there's no diversity on stage to see. So it's not represented. So does that answer the question? I'm like scared to like go into like more questions without being asked.
Yeah, that's also where like the name came from.
Yeah.
Because in German means
Repräsentant.
We can't. We just can't.
Yes, and we went into this project, I think, very open-minded and very also willing to not just turn it into conversations, but also open up space and create space for people to have the facility and resources to network, to exist, and to create if there was a need.
Or to get inspired for the creations.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
learn from each other.
For sure. A lot of that happened.
Yeah.
And then a lot of it also happened undocumented because we also wanted to just create an environment where we don't have to perform. We don't have to show an end result. We just want to be there. And I mean, it was all very organic. Conversations and dialogues were also very open to just see where things go, because a lot of us have experienced trauma in these areas, which was very, very clear with our first open question of experiences you've had. And yeah, it also was, to me at least, quite a healing space, but also emotionally very roller coaster, yeah. Just like life. Do you want to add something to that?
Well, no, I was just, thinking of how, like, already on the first brainstorming session we had, we realized straight away that it was really hard to answer this question because we managed to get such a diverse group of people. I mean, we talked about that it could be even more depending on like how much more money we could have had. But we did manage to get a very diverse group of people. And when we realized that the levels of discrimination that people go through, we also realized that it was going to be really, really hard to answer those questions and maybe even like impossible to come up with a set solution because people have different needs. And yeah,
there was one day just being here where it was us, and then there was another dance school here, Rooted Dance Culture, Rooted Dance School, and it was just a space full of BIPOC dancers, and I was like, what? I feel like I've never experienced anything like this before. Very utopish, that's German, very utopia-like. Anyway, I do also want to do a little disclaimer, well, not disclaimer, but the fact that us creating this as dancers and coming from a performative profession where we use not necessarily our words to express ourselves, I found it also very challenging to put things into words, to formulate them, and to open a dialogue that leaves space for people to answer while still maintaining a conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, but what you said, like, about not putting the pressure or like the documentation was something like we were not there the whole time trying to like document and get people to answer things, took out the pressure, and I felt like the flow was much easier. I think that helped a lot.
Yes, I just feel like I want to explain to the listeners for a second that all you've been hearing now. So what we did in the end is we invited, how many were there now? Like finally,
I think overall, like with people that came for the first days, and like maybe around 20 artists. Yeah.
So 20 BIPOC artists from how many different countries? Wow. Very international. So we had people coming in within Germany, but also outside of Germany. And we invited all of these artists to stay with us for a week. And we had like open classes, brainstorms, just networking space. We gave the opportunity for studio space for people who wanted. We recorded podcasts, which you will hear more of. And we also gave open workshops for people from outside to join. So, this was like a little wrap up what we've planned and did, basically, really nicely and successfully, I hope.
It was a beautiful and intense 7 days of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, at least, I mean, we're going to get to the feedback, but
Yeah.
we're not coming out with this information from our heads and our feelings. We got this feedback from everyone. I mean, most people, yeah.
Let's go to our goal of this, to our goal. What you will be experiencing and what you will be seeing and what we had in mind. Sometimes I was like, what the are we actually doing?
Good save.
Censoring myself. But to me, after this week, things have become so much more clearer. And it's not just within the name, but it's also with what we did and also just being there and existing. We are representing ourselves on terms that we want to be represented. We are publishing this podcast, we are publishing reels, we are publishing stories, we are publishing photographs. We are creating a narrative from our perspective to represent ourselves and show the visibility of diversity that is within Germany and kind of Europe due to our international heritages, and representing on our terms, writing our stories. We were also very free and in communication with every artist, say or do whatever feels comfortable. So I think that's what our main goal is, to okay.
No, just no.
There is a limit. Yeah, I think.
But it's cute though. It's cute.
I think what was also a huge goal was to represent as many diverse BIPOC artists as possible. And this is very much reflected also in the podcast. There are so many different humans coming in and speaking about their own experiences, about their own journey, careers, where I do feel like every kind of listener will at least find one episode super interesting and
that they can relate.
Exactly.
Like you mentioned that because this really was stuck with me during the process. It was such a learning process, and it was mentioned one of the last brainstorm feedback session we had. How interested to see the needs of each specific group, and there are a lot of projects that are focused on only the specific group. And this one we had access to a lot of things that the audience that I want is not the same audience, even though we are in the same community, is not the same audience that another style of dance wants. So it opened up for us to really. I felt like we came into this project with one point of view and one expectations. And then when we arrived, we realized that all right, we have to be in every corner of the room, because it's just, there are a lot of needs.
After teasing everyone and not actually saying any dance styles or performance styles, let's name a few. So we have some people from the Black dance culture, including ballroom and hip hop. What else we got?
We got classical ballet.
We got contemporary. We got Bollywood.
And musical artists and commercial.
Yeah, just to name a few.
Just to name.
Hip hop.
Hip hop.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
That's it.
It is hard to remember because and also even people that do contemporary, they also do other things. It's so
blurred.
mixed. Yeah.
And within the different spectrum of dance styles, we also have an array spectrum of gender, sexuality, age, heritage.
Yeah, we tried. I think this was a really important thing for all of us to get the diversity within the BIPOC community as broad as possible.
I have to acknowledge, and this is in every disclaimer, that in
Yeah.
every episode, we do not have a person with a disability, but we hope for the future many more things to come.
To be able to represent even more.
To what?
To represent even more.
Yes. Speaking of future, where is this project going to go?
That's a good question. I mean, we asked all the participants this question, and it was really nice to see where everyone had their thoughts and being like really like positive and like wanted to like grow. For everyone that cannot see me, just also mentioned once, I am not part of the BIPOC community. And
But you're a supporter.
I'm definitely a supporter. And it was like also for me like a really, really nice week, even though I just want to say also once I do feel a bit sad just for myself because I didn't make myself participate as much because I felt like I should not be on some things because I'm white, which now like looking back to it, I'm like, I should have not like done that to put me in this position maybe. But yeah, I do think the Repräsentanz has like a huge potential to go in very different topics also, and to do this lab for more communities maybe, but also stay with this community and let it grow together. What do you think?
Well, I think I'm going to say something that someone said, because we asked this into our beautiful group. And one thing that was said is that they believe could be a visual forum or a type of retreat-based group, creating environments for artists and or young adults to immerse themselves in a safer space. And one thing which I also kind of like very much and can agree with is that this could also become a funding hub for new emerging artists in dance.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, that would be beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what also other people said was like it could be a community to ask help, to ask for support, a connecting point, which I think, yeah, is like really beautiful, said, and also was always kind of like in the base of the idea also.
Yeah, because like in the freelance world, this connection and networking is one of the most important things. And like more and more, it's I did see myself in some situations where I really wanted to work with a woman of color or like even a woman, you know, sometimes. And I just like I couldn't find, like I was asking like, do you know somebody? No, I just know this person. And this is just great when you have the network, when you have the community. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go to Repräsentanz and I'm gonna see who they have to recommend me, and then be this the hub. That would be beautiful.
Yeah.
So the seed is planted, and let it prosper into any and many directions.
Yeah.
Yeah, since you say like the seed is planted, what I always find like interesting with this is like, and I hope like the people will take this also, because yeah, we plant a seed, but then it's everyone's opportunity to take advantage of grabbing it, and this is like now like we've invited just like a couple of people because there are limits, but yeah. At one point, it's then about the community to work with each other.
It takes a village.
Yeah.
Okay, another teaser for the public. Both of you got to sit into some podcasts or all of them. What was one of your favorite ones? Don't name it by name, but name it by conversation that happened or question that was asked?
I did feel, I mean, it's hard to say because of the diversity, it was like, it was really interesting to see different perspectives. I find it's obviously some people get nervous to be in front of a camera, and most people. So you could really sense that a lot of it was interesting to see like the conversation behind the scenes, and then when you put a camera in front and a mic, and then all of a sudden this filter comes in because there is so much fear as well of saying the wrong thing, of being misinterpreted. And I do find like it's a bit of a shame. At the same time, I get it because I'm here and I also feel the same. I'm like, okay, this is going to go online and I don't want to, it's like the cancel culture now is like, whoa, booming. So I think that for me was like, was interesting to analyze this part, you know. It's like, I just wish this person would like open up a little bit more, would be a little bit more vulnerable, but I do get that it's a different position to be in. But yeah, I guess that would be like a highlight for me from all of them.
Yeah, this was really nice said. Like, I also think like it has been so many. Like, it's really hard to like go back now and think for myself like, ooh, like one thing I don't know. How was it for you? I mean, you're the host.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It was a lot.
lot of information.
It was a lot of information. And I do have regrets. And I do find trouble balancing getting to know people and getting into the topic that we got the money for specifically for these questions. Because podcasts with BIPOC artists BIPOC dancers aren't happening. So I really tried to cover everything. It was all very overwhelming, but my favorite moment, my most emotional moment was when I was asked a question. Not the
Yeah, because straight away we felt it was like, oh.
Yeah, and yeah. Which podcast? I mean,
You gotta find out yourself.
Yeah, it wasn't long, but I was like, if I keep talking.
Yeah.
Because the whole week has been so not over impulsed, but so many feelings. Loaded.
Yeah.
And, oh my God, the anxiety. The week before and during this whole week, like mentioned, there haven't been projects like this before in the dance world that I feel so much pressure to do it justice. Because we're taking such a big step and I just really want to make the correct footprint.
Yeah.
And people with wonderful careers as well, like that come and sit down and you're like, okay, I have to do justice to their life achievements and everything. And we did not want to make the podcast too long, but at the same time, like you always feel like, oh, there's so much more to talk about.
Yes. But also been said, like, I mean, I've been there for like 90% of the podcast sitting behind the camera. You've done a wonderful job.
Oh.
Everyone's going to see.
Everyone's going to see.
Here.
Yes.
So just for the listener to understand, within this like 1 week of lab where we had everyone invited here, we recorded 10 podcasts, which was sometimes then like 2 on one day, which was for sure very like loading for moderating also, and because there was other things happening, think tanking, workshopping, open class, all of this.
Yeah, not even a week, 5 days, Tuesday to Saturday.
Sure.
Well, and I guess this one.
Yeah.
But in total, we will have a number of
13
podcasts.
I love how you waited for us to answer the question.
Yeah, because I was like, yeah. And Winnie Diaz, how did you feel during this
experience?
5 days?
Are we talking about the week or are we talking about the whole process? No, just the week. The people don't need to know the behind the scenes.
I mean, I don't know. I felt like we had like a very good vibe going on.
No, it was lovely. It was like also like as any like being a producer,
Yeah.
it's also stressful, but like that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to know this part.
But like, I mean, you know, like I have been working in a lot of like combinations together. This was like the most
Amazing.
pleasant I've been
I-
working in
yeah.
a group with in
a
while.
little like moment. Sorry everyone, but I absolutely love working with you. You're
Yeah.
amazing people. I did feel I loved it. It was overwhelming in a good way. Really enjoy meeting everyone. I think the group was amazing. We were just saying today, which was like the closing event, how you bond so closely with people for a week, and especially because we were so vulnerable. We talked about so many issues and like personal things that we went through and we are going through. So you bond even more, and then all of a sudden everybody goes to different ways. So I do hope this can continue and that we can keep in touch and actually like strengthen this community and the group we had. I think I learned a lot. Did not expect that. Like it caught me a little bit off guard. Like I said, maybe I was being naive, but there was a lot of things that I learned, and I think it would be really interesting in the future to have like a panel talk or something open to everyone, because the same way I learn, I feel like a lot of people would want and be willing to learn everything that we got to hear this week. So yeah, it was amazing. It was really, I'm thankful that we got to do that.
Yes, I agree with that. For sure. How did you feel, Pascal?
Oh, that's it? That's all you're going to say?
I mean, I feel like I shared already
yeah.
an experience a little bit.
The work has just begun in the sense of both like post-production wise, and I think I need to digest a lot of what happened with no connotation of a feeling, but it's like I need a minute kind of situation. But I'm definitely sorry.
A good night of sleep.
A good night of sleep. And I also feel like I just need a good cry as well.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fair.
Something.
Yeah.
A little explosion.
An outburst.
Yeah. But what really was extremely therapeutic was the doing a workshop.
Oh yeah.
Because like Winnie and like Anna, I also didn't partake necessarily as a guest. But and especially also doing other community projects, every time you're creating a space for people, you're never a part of it necessarily. I would have loved to be my own guest.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
Hard. Yeah.
But there's something we can dream of for like next time too.
That we get a team that we tell to do this, and then we just
that like
chill.
doing the lab, that we hire like 2 people that make sure that the schedule is running.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, daydreaming
do not
here.
open Pandora's box.
No.
Can we finish
Yes.
the podcast
Yes.
with the question to the audience and to have is listening that we had for our lab? Maybe just to leave it up in the air, or like a question. You know, like how we asked, like in every podcast, we left a question for the next participant, and let's say,
well, we are the first podcast.
I know, but
But it's a good.
our audience is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because this is a question that's relevant to everybody. Because I feel like everybody would want to see. Well, I hope that everybody would want to see more diversity in arts, in dance.
Everywhere.
What does Repräsentanz mean to you?
Write it in the comments. Subscribe on all the channels. Leave some love.
And give feedback. I think is also important in the comments. Like if you can answer this question, I mean, you don't have to, but it would be nice also some comments.
Yeah.
And the most important thing is also to share.
Oh, yes.
Share our content.
Support, sharing.
Through sharing our work, you are creating a space for us and a space for everyone who was a part of this project. And with you sharing it, you were also becoming a part of it.
Yes, exactly. And it makes everyone being heard.
Listen. Okay.
5, 6, 7.
You can dance.
You can shout.
All right.
All right.
Are we finishing it?
Yes.
The way it's the end of the beginning.
It's the end of the beginning. Oh my God, I love that.
Yes.
You were listening to
Representants.
Thank you for listening, and tune into our next episode of
Representants.
For more information, visit our social media pages, Representants_lab. The content on this podcast has been verified to the best of our abilities. We cannot guarantee that there are no mistakes or errors. We sadly acknowledge that at the moment we have no representation of a person with disabilities. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as legal or medical advice.